A big piece of refereeing is knowing how to manage coaches. And so many of you are teenagers, and the coaches are double, triple, quadruple your age. How do you lead up in these scenarios? And even as adult referees, how do we manage coaches? How do the best referees manage coaches? We don't ignore them on one end of the spectrum, and we don't match them force by force on the other end of the spectrum. Both of those are not good strategies. So how do we manage coaches in the middle of our games when the emotions are going crazy? Okay, so here's one thing that really one action. It's two, but I'll wrap it up into one. One action that if you remember this one thing, you're going to manage coaches well. Treat them with firmness and respect. Those are not mutually exclusive. All right, those can happen at the same time. Because really, at the end of the day, coaches, in a sane moment, if you're sitting down with them and talking with them and you ask them, if we as referees made decisions so that the game was won or lost based on skills, tactics, and fair play, not by force, would you agree with that? 100% of the coaches would agree with that. In a sane moment, they absolutely would agree with that. But you know what else is true? 100% of the coaches will disagree at some point in time with how you achieve that outcome. I have a good relationship with the majority of coaches that I come across, but 100% of them have disagreed with me at some point in time or another, and that's okay. That's okay. Because we're going for the same thing and we can disagree on the details. Okay, so how do the best referees manage these situations? Well, 90% or greater of the time, a quick word in the moment, a quick word of communication to bring clarity in the moment is going to help the coach to simply move on. If you don't bring clarity in the moment, the frustration is going to build on itself, and the coach at some point in time will communicate clearly with you. So if you want to learn more about that, go find the Communicating with Clarity video. Sometimes it's going to be a big moment of the game, a penalty kick, disallowing a goal, some other weird moment are all examples of this. It's a big moment in the game. Your body is going to want to speed up to get through the moment. Train yourself to slow down in the big moments. Communicate. Sometimes all it takes is maybe not even words, maybe just body language. You're going to disallow a goal for offside. A loud whistle. Wave off the goal. Put your hand up, maybe even draw a line. You've seen all of these things happen. All of the best referees do these things so that they can communicate with clarity, and they may not even say a single word. There may be a disagreement on whether it's correct or not, but that communicating with clarity is going to help the coaches move on. Maybe it's an awkward moment and you recognize, you know what? Awkward moments, they bring confusion and that's going to bring frustration. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to pull both coaches together and I'm going to explain this is what happened and this is what I'm going to do next. They may not fully agree, but the coaches that just want some clarity, they're going to move on. So the best referees know how to differentiate between coaches who want clarity and coaches who just want to argue. Coaches who want clarity, you give them the laws and considerations. They may or may not agree, and they'll move on. Hey, coach, hit the hand, natural position, or hit the arm, natural position, kicked from close. They may or may not agree, but the coaches that want clarity, they're more willing to move on. Coaches that want argument, they're going to come back at you, all right? Maybe you explain it in a slightly different way, but essentially you're utilizing the laws and the considerations. Lost the word there. Laws and considerations, and you say it the same way or maybe a little bit different, and they still want to come at you. They just want to argue. Right? Recognize, okay, now the coach wants to argue. You going word for word with them or tit for tat or coming back at them, that's just force with force. Okay? The coach is wanting to use force to get you to change. No, this is where firmness and respect comes in. Firmness, you draw boundaries. The law has given you tools to draw boundaries. Official warnings, yellow cards, and red cards. If a coach wants to be unprofessional, you draw boundaries. Coach, you're continuously dissenting. This is your official warning. But you do it with respect. Don't match their emotion. Be willing to listen. Even a coach that is highly emotional, there's something for you to listen to, okay? And be willing to be humble. Saw a great example of this past weekend. Situation didn't go exactly the way it needed to go. We talked through it, and the referee said, "My bad, coach. I'm sorry. This is what I should have done, and this is what I'm going to do moving forward." Be firm, draw boundaries around unprofessional behavior, but also be respectful. Don't match their emotion, be willing to listen, and be willing to be humble. This is going to help you in every single area of life. Somebody is being unprofessional towards you, be willing to draw boundaries. Now, we don't have warnings and yellow cards and red cards in real life, but be willing to draw boundaries, but also be respectful. Don't match their emotion. Be willing to listen and be willing to be humble. The best referees are manage coaches this way on the field. This is how they manage the game, is that they do it with firmness and respect. No matter if you're 13, no matter if you're 35 or 70, you can referee and learn how to manage the game and manage coaches with firmness and respect. Draw boundaries, but also don't match their emotion. Be willing to listen and be willing to be humble. The best referees do this on and off the field.